guys, what is up? Pritesh from PIPodcasters here, and today I'm giving you guys my NFC power rankings. These are my personal opinions on the NFC. I'm definitely going to be going over every single team and from top to bottom, my power ranks for the whole NFC. Um, I'm not gonna tell you guys my division winners. I'll do that in a different video. But I'm gonna tell you guys my power rankings for every single team. So at number one, we have the Los Angeles Rams, the defending Super Bowl champs. I think they just got better. They added Bobby Wagner. Yes, they did lose Von Miller, but they added Bobby Wagner, arguably the best linebacker in the game. And I think that just showed they can replace. Somehow they're finding people to replace and just making that team better. And I think that receiving core, with Allen Robinson now, it's going to be just as good, if not better. They still have Cooper Cup, Matthew Stafford connection. That connection is going to be the same. I have no doubt in my mind. And then they have Allen Robinson. I'm excited to see what Allen Robinson does because Matt Nagy was very limiting him so much in the Bears. There's even rumors of Matt Nagy limiting Allen Robinson's snaps because he didn't like him. I don't know how true that is, but all I know is Allen Robinson wasn't getting that many snaps, and he's a very good receiver not to be getting enough snaps. So I think he's going to do very well in Los Angeles. And they still have an amazing defense with Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey. That team did not change too much, and that is why they're number one and very well could make the Super Bowl again. And number two, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady's Tom Brady. He added so many weapons around him. He had even added even more in Russell Gage and even more. That offense is not going to be any different. Gronk's gone, yeah, that's fine. But Tom Brady's Tom Brady. He doesn't need Gronk, and he still has that receiving core, and they still have that running room and the offensive line. So their offense is fine. On defense, they did lose a couple pieces in defense, but their they have a new head coach. Gonna be interesting to see how he plays, but they still have Tom Brady. They still have that most of their defense left. So definitely, I still think they're gonna be one of the top teams in the NFL. And definitely they could fight for the Super Bowl again as well. I think they're gonna make a playoff. They're gonna make the playoffs already. Again, you can't count them out. I just no way you can count them out. Their defense and offense is too good still, and I don't think that's gonna change. At number three, I have this team high up here. This team honestly probably should have been six to eight range. But I like what they're doing, and I like their coach kinda, and I like what they're doing in the quarterback room. And it's the San Francisco 49ers. Their defense is very, very good. You can tell that's obviously what led them to the NFC Championship game and almost won the NFC Championship game, if not for the drop pick. If the San Francisco 49ers picked that ball off, they would have won the NFC and probably would have won the Super Bowl just because how good their defense is. That's how they made the playoffs. That's how they made the deep playoff run because of their defense. They shut down the Green Bay Packers. They basically played very well against the Los Angeles Rams and beat them to make the playoffs in the first place in the last week of the season. And they did it again, caused Matthew Stafford to throw some picks or almost picks, especially that huge one that would have sent them to the Super Bowl. And I don't think they're going to start Jimmy Garoppolo. I think they're going to start Trey Lance, and Trey Lance, from what he showed, he can throw the football well. And just having a year under his belt, I really want to see Trey Lance start a full season, and I think he will this year. And having Trey Lance up there, I think he's one of the best rookie quarterbacks of last year, and I think he's going to show why he was picked where he was picked. And I think Trey Lance has all the talent in the world. And he has all the offensive weapons around him as well, and the running back room as well. He's still a Debo Samuel at wide receiver. He has Brandon Ayuk, and his running back room is very good with Trey Sermon, and both those running backs over there, Trey Sermon and the other running back, very, very good. That defense, I haven't even got to it. I kind of talked about it a little bit, but that defense is very, 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 very good. arguably the best defense in the league last year. I just by looking at the playoff picture, just by looking at the defense plays, I thought they were the best defense in the NFL, and I think they continue that. I don't think they lost too many pieces on that defense, and they continue being an amazing defense. And having that amazing defense, and if Trey Lance plays well enough, I think that's gonna be a scary team. At number four, they are ranked. In my opinion, I think they're. I ranked them here just because of that, just because I think they have one of the best defense in the NFL. Trey Lance has so many weapons around him, and you have the offensive mastermind in Kyle Shanahan who makes receivers get open. He's so good at that, and you can't deny it. I mean, he could choke again in the playoffs and the Super Bowl. He's done it before, but I think he's such a good offensive mastermind that it doesn't matter who's his quarterback. At number four, and yet they should be 7 or 8, I believe. Just because Trey Lance, and maybe a little bit too high for me. I did put them at 3, but they're honestly probably 7 or 8. They are very up here just because of their defense. At number 4, I have the Green Bay Packers. This is a team that I was very, very torn on putting so high up here because of what happened in the offseason and what happened in the draft. Um, Definitely, they could be a 6 or 7 team right here. There's a couple of teams that could take their place right here. But the fact is, Aaron Rodgers in the regular season, and not in the playoffs, obviously. But they did draft a wide receiver in the second round, who I think Aaron Rodgers is gonna love. They have Sammy Watkins now, who was a very good threat last year for where he played last year. He was a very good deep threat as well. We just watched the highlights. Definitely, that was awesome to watch. And on defense, they did lose to Darius Smith, but their whole defense is back, or most of it. Got Eric Stokes. They still have Jairi Alexander, a very good corner, one of the best in the NFL. And with that, I think Aaron Rodgers has enough weapons, even though he lost Devontae Adams, that's such a big hit to the Packers. But I think Aaron Rodgers is such a good quarterback that it doesn't matter. And Aaron Jones is still very good. Jay Dillon back there, very good running game as well. I think they're not gonna have a problem in the NFL, and especially with the division they're in. But the Vikings, the Bears, and the Lions, their only real competition is the Vikings, who could potentially be playing very, very well and on paper have a better roster than the Packers. At number 5, I have the Dallas Cowboys. You saw it last year. They were supposed to go far in the playoffs, the way their team was playing, and yet they just lost it to the 49ers. Their offense kind of shut down, and Dak Prescott, it wasn't looking at the clock when he went down. The team still has a lot of same pieces. They lost. I'm forgetting his name. Pass rusher. They lost him. But their defensive line's still gonna be good. They still have Michael Parsons. They still have DeMarcus Lawrence. Trayvon Diggs is still there. He's gonna play better than he was last year as well. So definitely a good sign. He may not have the interception he did last year, but he's still gonna play very well. I think their defense is gonna be playing close to the same as it was last year, if not the same. And on offense, they did lose Amari Cooper. I really like the Amari Cooper CeeDee Lamb connection because Dak Prescott has his choosing of where he wanted to throw to. But they do have Michael Gallup, who's good enough. So I think their offense is going to be fine. And Zeke and Pollard is a very good 1-2 punch right there. I think their offense is going to be fine. That's why they're so far up here, is because I think that team is good enough. The only problem is Mike McCarthy. I don't like him too much as a coach, but with the talent he has, he should be able to lead this team to the playoffs. At number 6, I have the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Eagles jumped up here because they added Jordan Davis from Georgia, who's a big boy at D tackle, very big boy at D tackle, and it's a very, very good D tackle. He's gonna stuff up that run so many times. You're gonna see so many highlights from him, I believe. And they did trade for AJ Brown, so Jalen Hurts has another weapon to throw to. He has Devontae Smith and Devontae Smith and AJ Brown now. And the running game still have Miles Sanders and Kenneth Gainwell there. So definitely the running back room is fine, and Jalen Hurts is mobile. He's a mobile quarterback. He's only going to get better. This is gonna be this year and next year probably is gonna be Jalen Hurts prove it years, where he's gonna show if he's the franchise quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, which I believe he can be. And on defense, they re-signed Fletcher Cox, or Jordan Davis and Fletcher Cox on the D line. They still have Darius Slay. They still have a lot of their pieces on defense. I think they're going to be good enough to be able to compete in their division as well, and with Dallas Cowboys, because their division has Commanders and Giants. Number 7, maybe a little higher than some people think, is the Arizona Cardinals. Yes, the last 2 years, I've said it myself, they choked in the second half season, and it might have something to do with the coaching staff, which is very frustrating. You never want to see a team get frustrated and choke throughout the second half of the season. And I think it's maybe because of their coaching staff. And if it is so, if we see it for the third time this year, the Arizona Cardinals are going to be in trouble. But I like their team. I like Kyler Murray. I know D-Hop's suspended for 6 games. I just really like Kyler Murray as well, and their offense as well. Their defense did lose a lot of pieces. They still have J.J. Watt, but he's in decline. They lost Chandler Jones, which is a big hit to them. Was one of the premier pass rushers, and they definitely have some decent linebackers. They have okay corners, I'd say, and their safeties are pretty good. They have Isaiah Simmons there at linebacker. I really like Isaiah Simmons. That's why they're so far up here. And honestly, it may be putting them too much because of DeAndre Hopkins suspension. They may even be 9 or 10. Um, but I have them at 7 right now. Let me know what you guys think about this. Maybe a little too high, I know. I just really like that whole system, and they're really hot in the regular season. So if they can complete that for a whole season, that's why they're up there. At number 8, I have the Minnesota Vikings. On paper, this roster should be one of the best in the NFL, but year in and year out, the past 3 years, they've been underperforming. They were a playoff team the last 3 years, but they haven't made it to the playoffs. And that's very frustrating. And I really think Mike Zimmer was holding them back. I think Mike Zimmer was good at the beginning, and he did good building that defense. But you saw it at the end of his run with the Vikings. He couldn't make this team kind of fight. It kind of looked like the Vikings had this great team on paper, but couldn't really do much. And I think they really needed a coaching staff change, and they got rid of Zimmer, and that was a good move. And yet now they have an offensive coordinator as coach, so definitely their offense I think is going to be really good. It's very good, one of the best duos in Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. I think they're really good. Say what you want about Adam Thielen, but I still think it's a very good receiver. So that's why they're at number 8, and they still have a very good defense. Harrison Smith, Everson Griffin. They have the linebackers in Anthony Barr. And they just have a very good enough defense to be able to compete in that division, and they can even well compete with the Packers. So don't be surprised if the Minnesota Vikings win the NFC North. At number 9, I have the New Orleans Saints. As Falcons fans, I don't. It's hard to say good things about them, but I will say that they have a very, very good defense this year. Their defense is stacked. They have Marcus May, free safety, and Tyrann Mathieu at strong safety. Very, very good strong safety combo right there. Marcus May, he was playing very well, and I think he has so much potential. I hated that move by the Jets to let him go. They still have Demario Davis, linebacker. They have Cameron Jordan. They have decent corners. Marshawn Lattimore's decent. I think he's been digressing. He played good last year, but not as good as AJ Terrell. And yet he still made the Pro Bowl. Honestly, Marshawn Lattimore shouldn't have made it. Just getting out the snare, getting it that's out there now. Marshawn Lattimore shouldn't have made the playoffs. AJ Terrell should have. Definitely it was clear in the stats, clear in everything. AJ Terrell was just a better player. But the defense of the New Orleans Saints is very good. They have weapons at offense. Michael Thomas, when he comes back, he's going to be decent. Alvin Kamara is still there. He's a very good running back. And it's always going to depend on Jameis Winston. And yet he showed last year that he can lead that team. He was looking very well before he tore his ACL. So if he looks like that Saints team can even be up can very well compete in the playoffs. That's gonna be a scary team if Jameis Winston's playing off the roof. But I don't believe in Jameis. I have seen Jameis play throughout his career in Tampa Bay. Never had that QB mindset, QB accuracy, never had the looks of, never had the QB IQ or QB whatever you want to call it. He's never had that one moment where I was like, oh, this dude can play. Um, so I don't think James Winston's the answer there. But they're number 9 because their defense is very good. It's all going to depend on James Winston. And number 10, this may be very high, maybe a little biased. I don't think it's going to be a little biased, but I have the Atlanta Falcons there. And it's because Marcus Mariota is back with Arthur Smith, and that's not the main reason. On defense, they still have AJ Terrell. They added Casey Hayward, one very good corner last year, top 15 corner last year as well. Definitely that combo is going to be scary. They're going to lock down some people. The safeties, Eric Harris and Richie Grant. Richie Grant's a second-year player now. He played well in his roles. He's going to get a lot more playing time. Last year, the Falcons, underrated stat, they didn't allow a 50-plus yard touchdown all season. So definitely no big plays. Again, I don't think they're gonna allow too many big plays down the field. Eric Harris is a good enough safety. He played well last year and made some big hits. Richie Grant, he's a young safety, but I think he can play very well. At linebacker, Deion Jones, I still think Deion Jones is going to be good enough. He didn't have a great season last year and missed some tackles, but I still think Deion Jones can be Deion Jones. They also have McCall Walker, who you saw last year pick off Cam Newton for a pick 6. Definitely, he is is an up and coming young linebacker, and I think he can play very well. He's taking over for Foyce Loco now, so I think he's gonna fit just right in. And on defensive line, we drafted Arnold Ebiketie, the Doctor of Pass Rush is his nickname. I think he's gonna be a good enough pass rusher to actually start making pass rush moves for our defense, who's never had a pass rush in forever. And him and Grady Jarrett on the line, I think it's going to be really fun to watch. I think it's going to cause pressure on the line, forcing quarterbacks to throw earlier than they want to, but also remember AJ Terrell and Casey Hayward and the safeties and the linebackers, if they play well, it's going to be lockdown coverage, and that's why I have the Falcons at 10 above these other teams, is because their defense did improve a lot. They added Rashawn Evans, a linebacker. Even if McCall Walker doesn't start, Rashawn Evans is going to start. He's a fast linebacker. Been playing very well for Titans. Titans fans, if you know Rashawn Evans, you know Rashawn Evans. He's going to play very, very well. I've seen him play. So definitely a very good signing by linebacker and Rashawn Evans. That defense, I think, is going to surprise a lot of people. And on offense, Drake London, Brandon Edwards, 6'4" higher, taller wide receivers, Kyle Pitts, Cordero Patterson. Marcus Mariota is going to play under Arthur Smith again for the first time since he was in Tennessee. In Tennessee, look how good he looked with Arthur Smith as offensive coordinator. Now Arthur Smith is head coach, and he's had years under Derek Carr to improve. I really think Marcus Mariota is going to improve and surprise a lot of people just because he's with Arthur Smith again. And then Desmond Ridder is sitting back there waiting for his turn to start. If Marcus Mariota starts playing bad, Desmond Ridder has these receivers at his plethora. The running back room got a little better. Tyler Algier, running back. That's very good. I've seen his college highlights. He can play well. And see how he plays. But Cordero Patterson's still there, and him, I think this will be better than Mike Davis and Cordero Patterson. And that's why I think the Falcons are number 10 above these other teams, because their defense is very much improved that everyone's overlooking. And I think Marcus Mariota is going to surprise some people. At number 11, I have the Detroit Lions. I really like Dan Campbell and what he's doing with that team. Jared Goff is a Super Bowl contender, basically. He didn't win the Super Bowl, but he contended in it. He fought for it. You saw he led his team to the Super Bowl. I mean, that's hard to do. That's not easy to do, and he has done it before. Not saying he's the best quarterback ever, but it's saying he has Super Bowl experience. And now he has James Williams, arguably the best wide receiver in the draft. He has Amon-Ra St. Brown, who breakout year last year. and also some other receivers that he has over there. And he has DeAndre Swift back there. He has TJ Hawkinson. They have a very good offense set up for him and for Jared Goff. And on defense, they added Aiden Hutchinson, the best pass rusher in the NFL draft, in my opinion. So they have the pieces there. I think we're gonna see a cornerback. Kind of forgot his name. The cornerback that injured, that was out for the whole season last year. He's coming back, so I think he's gonna play well. C.J. Henderson. It was C.J. Henderson? No, I don't think it's C.J. Henderson. Correct me. Let me know in the comments section below, but I'm forgetting him for some reason. But yeah, that's why I like Detroit Lions a lot at number 11. Number 12, Washington Commanders. Yes, I know they still have Chase Young. They're gonna have Chase Young back and Montez Sweat, and they have a very good pass rush. And they have Jonathan Allen over there in D line. I think is a very good D lineman. And they have linebackers. They have decent safeties. They have decent corners as well. I think their defense is good enough to compete. But the only worrisome is the offense. The offense, Antonio Gibson is a good enough running back. Their offensive line, they lost Brandon Scherf. I'm not sure if their own line is going to be as good as it once was, even though they were decent. Carson Wentz, is he going to be the guy? So many questions there. So many questions for that offense. He does have Scary Terry. He does have some weapons on offense. But there's too many questions on that offense for me to put them any higher. And number 13, I have the Carolina Panthers. Big reason you guys probably know is because their quarterback situation. They don't know who they want to start a quarterback. They have Sam Darnold. They have Matt Corral. They don't know what they want to do. Sam Darnold might be seeing ghosts, so they might have to not play him. Yeah. And then their defense, I think their defense is good, but with the problems happening with the offense, Robbie Anderson maybe even retiring because he doesn't want Sam Darnold's quarterback, that offense is not gonna look the same. Definitely with that quarterback issue. Chris McCaffrey, I'm pretty sure he's gonna be back to his form, hopefully, if he doesn't get injured. But that's the bright spots for them. DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Christian McCaffrey. Other than that, that offense is gonna be looking very, very scary for some people. It's not scary in a good way; it's scary in a bad way because their whole quarterback situation is under turmoil right now, and I don't think Matt Rule is a very good coach either. At number 14, I have the Seattle Seahawks. Pete Carroll is a very good coach. Drew Lock is not the answer. I know 100%. We've seen it in Denver. If he was the answer, then he would be in Denver right now, and not Russell Wilson. And also their defense isn't a rebuild. They lost Bobby Wagner. They lost a lot of defensive pieces. They're not the same Legion of Boom that they were before. Their defense got a little worse, and they're in a rebuild right now. The one bright spot is they have their offense. They have DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett working for them right now, and that duo is still there. There's rumors of DK Metcalf being traded. I don't think that's happening right now. But Drew Lock has weapons at his plethora. They'll have Chris Carson, Rashad Penny, decent backs. So I think if Drew Lock does play well, they have a chance to win some games. And that's why they're at 14. Number 15, I have the Chicago Bears. I would put them dead last. I like Justin Fields too much. But they did nothing to help him out. They did nothing to draft him O-lineman because he was getting hit so much last year as a rookie. And he got pummeled last year, and they were like, I thought a new coaching staff would help that a little bit, but they did nothing in the draft or the offseason to help Justin Fields. And they lost their best pass rusher in Khalil Mack. They still have pieces on defense, though, which I like. And on offense, who's their receivers? Darnell Mooney, I think, is really good. I think he can be their wide receiver one. But other than that, the wide receiver core is not looking good, and Justin Fields still doesn't have an own line, so it's going to be very hard for him. I think David Montgomery is good running back. He's a decent running back. Khalil Herbert's there. He's okay. But other than that, their offense is not looking good, and it's not looking good at all for Justin Fields. That's why they're at 15. And at number 16, a team I could put one or two spots higher, the New York Giants. They did draft Evan Neal, Kayvon Thibodeau, but their defense is very worrisome to me. I think they might not have the best defense in the NFC. They probably have the worst. If not a little better than the Bears and the Seahawks. They could be better defense than Bears and Seahawks. I just haven't seen And offense, they did draft Evan Neal, Daniel Jones. This is your year to prove it. Are you going to be Giants' future? You have some decent receivers. You have Kenny Golladay, a decent receiver. There's some decent options around you. Saquon Barkley can play like rookie Saquon Barkley. It's going to help this offense so much and be able to win some games for them. Other than that, their defense, I don't think, in my opinion, is very good. I think they're still rebuilding and they will get better. So definitely it's going to take some time. But Danny Jones' time is now. And he has some offensive line help now. He has some receivers to help him out. And if Saquon Barkley is playing like rookie Saquon Barkley, there's no reason he should fail. And that's why the New York Giants are dead last at 16. I don't know where Daniel Jones is going to head. He might just fumble the bag and get released at the end of the season. And then the defense, who knows how many points they're going to allow. But they're still rebuilding. They can get better. And that's why I have them at 16. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know your guys' power rankings. Some of these teams were kind of tough to decide. I may have put some of these teams in the bottom 3 or 4. Mixed them up just a little too much. Other than that, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. Leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel. We do podcasts every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. So thank you guys for watching. Peace.
Thank you for watching the PI Podcast. Make sure you subscribe and tune in next time so you don't miss the latest news in the NFL world. You can also follow us on TikTok at PI Podcast and on Twitter at PIPodcasters. Until next time.